Viewers, days after tragic deaths in a stampede at Mahakumbh, there was a political storm over the issue both inside and outside the parliament. Sloganeering was witnessed in both houses, and opposition MPs staged a walkout in the upper house in symbolic protest. Now, while the state government has put the official count of the number of people who died in the Kumbh tragedy at 30, the opposition calls it a lie. Opposition, however, doesn't stop at this. They go on to give their own death counts without any evidence to back these claims. Now, Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge was the first off the bat. In a stunning claim, he says thousands have died in the Kumbh Stampede. When ruling party members objected to Kharge's claim, he put the onus on the BJP to prove him wrong with data.
मैं महाकुंभ में दिवंगत लोगों को श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं, जिन्होंने आज हजारों की संख्या में वहां पर अपनी जान दी है कुंभ में। सर, ठीक है, मैं थाउजेंड्स बोला, इसीलिए मैं इस अंदाज से नहीं बोला किसी को ब्लेम करने के लिए, लेकिन वहां हुआ कितना, कितने लोग मरे, कम से कम वो इंफॉर्मेशन दे दो। अगर मैं गलत हूं, ठीक है, मैं आपसे माफी मांग लूंगा गलत है तो। अगर है कितने लोगों का देहांत हुआ, कितने लोग मरे, कितने लोग अभी भी लापता है।
But Kharge wasn't the only one. SP MP Dimple Yadav echoed Congress president's claim without substantiating it with any concrete evidence. In fact, a host of other Samajwadi Party leaders engaged in open slander. SP MP Ram Gopal Yadav stated that CM cannot be called a Yogi since he got people killed. Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav says that something similar in the vein that the one who hides the truth cannot be called a Yogi. Another member of parliament from Samajwadi Party, Jaya Bachchan, has said that Kumbh water is the most contaminated.
लोग मत से नहीं, विचार से योगी होते हैं। जो सत्य के रास्ते में चले वही योगी है, और वो जो सत्य को छिपाए वो कभी योगी नहीं हो सकता है।
कहीं ना कहीं जो आंकड़े अब आ रहे हैं सामने, लोग बता रहे हैं कि लगभग 1000 लोगों की जान गई है इस कुंभ के मौके पे।
जिस दिन यहाँ कुंभ खत्म होगा और लोग गंगा के किनारे जाएंगे और मिट्टी को करो देंगे तो लाशें निकलेंगी। योगी का सनातन से क्या वास्ता है, जो लोगों को वहाँ मार दे, मरवा दे।
सबसे ज्यादा कंटामिनेटेड वाटर इस वक्त कहाँ है? कुंभ में है। उसके लिए कोई सफाई नहीं दे रहे। बॉडीज जो पानी में डाल दी गई हैं, उससे पानी कंटामिनेट हुआ।
ये पूरी तरह से सनातन का विरोध करने वाले जो लोग हैं, उनकी एक सभी तरह का एक नैरेटिव है। कोई पानी में जहर डालने की बात करता है, कोई हमारे महाकुंभ के खिलाफ बोलता है, कोई महाकुंभ के पानी को जहर कहता है। मुझे लगता है कि इससे सनातन को कुछ होने वाला नहीं है। देश का सनातन, देश की संस्कृति इसी प्रकार से चलती रहेगी।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's open this up and take it across to our guest. Joining us is Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of BJP. Rahul Ishwar, activist, is with us. Also with us here in the studios, Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. Joining us also on the show is Selam Dhanidharan, spokesperson of the DMK. But I want to go first and foremost to Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Ghanshyam Tiwari, you just heard the BJP, Satish Upadhyay. He says, ye wo log hain jo Sanatan ko, who want to defame the Sanatan Dharma. And that is why leader after leader of your political party has come out and made extremely controversial statements. How do you respond to what the BJP is saying?
The people of India have to ask that how many people, how many pilgrims have to die for BJP to call itself a neutral party? That if we call out that this government hid the tragedy at its senior most level with AI, cameras and so much fanfare, did Rajnath Singh, who visited with so much fanfare, go back to Prayagraj? Did Amit Shah, who visited with so much fanfare and VIP treatment, go back to Prayagraj? A cruel government that does not even acknowledge the real scale of tragedy
No, but what's the proof, Ghanshyam? It's all very well. You can question the BJP. In fact, I'll ask Sanju to respond to your questions. But if you're making comments like the water is the most contaminated, has Jaya Bachchan done a study on ground? If Mr. Ram Gopal Yadav says that if you dig out, you will find bodies. Others are saying that bodies have been floated in the Ganga. What is the basis of making these complaints? Isn't there some kind of a responsibility to be factual? Or at least making arguments on the basis of some facts?
People are dead. The government is shying away from telling the real numbers. They're shying away from a debate in parliament. Let's take a step back. In the previous parliament session, MP after MP from opposition said that in Sambal this government had the conspiracy of cold-blooded murder. Did a single member of BJP stand up and say, no, we were not part of that conspiracy? BJP wears these conspiracies on their sleeves. They feel that it is something that they have earned. But in Kumbh, they can't walk away because it goes to the core of who we are as a country. This is the greatest civilizational journey of a country. And if the government who's responsible, who spent 7,500 crores, 7,500 crores has been spent. Okay. And Madhav, you're asking me what is the proof?
30 people have died, the government has said so. If there is evidence that more people have died, certainly there would be something to back up such a claim, I'm assuming. Or am I assuming too much?
If the government has thousands of cameras and if it is not putting out the claims of missing members, it is not putting out. For example, a conspiracy theory was floated that X number of mobile phones are off. Whose mobile phone is likely to be switched off? The people who's missing, who's seriously injured, or who's no more.
Okay, Sanju Verma, mobile phones going off, there's a huge amount of money that has been invested. It is the onus of the BJP government to come clean on the total number of people dead. I'm not seeing much more than that in terms of argument coming or evidence in terms of the fact that the toll is actually higher than what the government has claimed. And of course, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge claiming that let the government come out with its own data. The onus is on the BJP, he says.
You know, Madhav, what I find extremely appalling is when Ghanshyam, who represents Akhilesh Yadav and his corrupt ideology, sits here and waxes eloquent that BJP ne jo mritak log hai, unka number chupaya. I say, why should the BJP always have a gun to its head to prove the reckless allegations of Akhilesh Yadav and the entire cabal? If your leader Akhilesh Yadav is making a baseless allegation that more than 30 people have died, more than 60 people have been injured, then I say the onus of providing proof lies with Akhilesh Yadav. The burden of proof is on your shoulders. You cannot have the shoot and scoot policy. Arre 30 log nahi mare, 300 log mar gaye. Mallikarjun Kharge says thousands of people died. I mean, how can you be so irresponsible? That is my point number one. But point number two is always look at the track record of a person. This is the same Akhilesh Yadav whose father Mulayam Singh Yadav never admitted that 184 people were burnt to death in the 1978 Sambhal riots. This is the same Akhilesh Yadav who went knocking on the doors of the Allahabad High Court after the 2010 Sankat Mochan blast at Varanasi, saying Indian Mujahideen ki galti nahi hai. Galti to sari ki sari dispensation ki hai. This is the same Akhilesh Yadav who till date has not shown even an iota of empathy and sympathy for the 59 people who died when Sabarmati Express S6 coach was set to fire by radical Islamists on 27 February 2002. This is the same Akhilesh Yadav who is yet to admit that more than 42 people died under his incompetent nose when the Kumbh was organized in 2030. So don't sit here and lecture the BJP. There is an investigation.
Quick response. Ghanshyam, quick response, please. Quick response. Let's move on to other panelists. Quick response.
I want to appeal to your viewers to look at the cruelty of BJP. That with 7,500 crores, thousands of cameras, their spokesperson is not able to pinpoint the number of deaths, and they have the audacity to link it to every other thing. This is the party that hit the number of deaths in COVID. This is the party that hit the number of people who died while traveling through trains when they put the lockdown. This is a party that is so cruel that it will hide the death of your loved ones and then come and brazenly link it with anything which is unrelated. Tell me today that how many people are dead
one by one.
AI cameras, as per on your own AI cameras, as per your own...
Sanju, one second, I'm coming to you. One second. Let him quickly complete. Yeah. Okay, Ghanshyam.
The day and age of mobile trackers, AI cameras, it is thinking that people are foolish, that there will not be, that a government or a...
Okay, high technology being used, why can't the government actually tell us the real toll? That's a response. Quick response, please, Sanju, and then I have to go across to others.
The final response will be given after the special task force comes up with its report and its findings. But as of now, when Yogi Adityanath has clearly and categorically said that 3030 people are dead, why should Akhilesh Yadav start behaving like Alfred Hitchcock? Why should Mallikarjun Kharge start behaving like Agatha Christie? In लोगों को थोड़ी भी शर्म नहीं आती, they play vulture politics.
Okay, there's an official. Let me bring in others now, please. Tehseen, there is an official investigation underway. We all know that. Why don't you wait for that to come out before we actually speak, says Sanju Verma. But let me ask you another question. The fact that the BJP is alleging that, Congress, SP, etc., anti-Sanatan is due to the background of what has happened in the past. For instance, Mallikarjun Kharge coming out a few days ago when he in fact spoke in Mau to say that Modi ji और Shah मिलके इतना पाप किए हैं कि वो 7 जन्मों तक क्या 100 जन्म में भी स्वर्ग नहीं जा सकते, इनको मिलेगा लोगों का श्राप से नरक ही मिलेगा. When these kind of statements are made, they say that there is a background to Mr. Kharge making extremely controversial and insensitive statements concerning religion.
Thank you, Madhav, for having me on the show. At the onset, let me extend my deepest condolences once again to the family members who've lost their loved ones at the Kumbh, or those who are injured. We wish them a speedy recovery, irrespective of our political differences. Madhav, there were two issues out here, and the NDA, the literal full form of the NDA government is no data available. If the government can claim with accuracy 8 crore plus people came, why can't it give a finality more than 48 hours after this horrible stampede happened and horrible deaths took place, that what are the total number of people who've passed away and total number of people who've injured? There is an official number which is grossly underreported only because, not because the leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha or other members of parliament are Sherlock Holmes or anything, because reporters like your reporters, Times Now reporters, Navbharat reporters and other reporters from other channels are going to various places where bodies are lying, and they're saying that these are not reported because thousands of mobile phones are not claimed, because people and their relatives, and Times Now Navbharat is doing a stellar job, and all of you all are covering those relatives who are out of touch. Why can't we have a decent approximate number? Is it not a duty of the government to do it? There is a background to this, Madhav, and I remember joining you when the Hathras tragedy happened. The man responsible for the Hathras tragedy, how many months? More than 4 or 5 months? Still now has not been booked. His name's not in the charge sheet. 100 poor people lost their life. Even out here in this stampede, those who lost their lives were poor. Not one person should lose their life. Not one person should lose their life. Okay. Those who have lost their lives are the poorest of the poor who've lost their life. Nobody who is a VVIP or VIP has faced any difficulty so far, and I'm not saying they should lose their life, I'm saying only the poor have lost their life. We have a responsibility as a nation to ask it. As opposition, it is our duty to question the government. The government, I'll just take 10 seconds, one I'll end. The government, before this, was mocking Azam Khan. On your shows, Azam Khan was being mocked for a railway tragedy, which was wrong. Today, when we ask questions of the government, how can you get away calling the opposition's name? It is the duty and the dharma of the opposition to ask these questions. The opposition must ask it, and it is their duty towards the constitution and towards Sanatan to ask these questions.
No, the question also is, of course, of the state government at that point of time, given that they were making arrangements with the Kumbh as far as Samajwadi Party is concerned. But Sanju Verma, respond to Tehseen, because he's saying there are several persons who have been reported at the Kumbh who said that their family members are missing. It's on that basis that we are raising the concerns of the poorest of poor in the country. Please respond.
Madhav, first and foremost, let's get this very clear. The Mela officer who's in charge of the entire Mahakumbh along with his team, senior IPS officer Vijay Krishna Anand, then you have the UP DIG, Vaibhav Krishna, and then you have the Minister for Exports, NRI Investments and Industry, Nand Kumar Gupta, who's in charge of the Mahakumbh. He's been designated by Yogi Adityanath. All these three people, under the aegis of the sitting Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, have clearly said that the 16,000 phone numbers which have suddenly gotten disconnected, and they were all active in the Sangam Nose area and got disconnected barely within a couple of hours of the horrifying incident happening, clearly suggests that there is something which is amiss. There is more to it than meets the eye. Was this just another unfortunate accident or incident because people broke barricades? Was there a deliberate attempt to provoke the devotees? Was there a deliberate attempt to create rumor mongering so that there is panic amongst the millions of devotees who gathered on the Mauni Amavasya day on the 29th of January? All these questions will be answered after a thorough investigation, which is what is the job of the special task force. Neither Tehseen Poonawala nor Madhav nor Sanju Verma have the resources resources or the capabilities to try and second guess the police constabulary. Let the police, let Yogi Adityanath do his job. Let Ghanshyam Tiwari not sit here and shed crocodile tears, because if you really believe in the well-being of the people, then your leader, Ram Gopal Yadav, what did he say? After the SSP of Sambhal was heckled and shot, he barely escaped. He had grievous injuries. Your Ram Gopal Yadav said, "Jab jab booth lutenge, tab tab patthar chalenge." Trying to insinuate that simply because the Samajwadi Party lost the bypolls, you won only 2 out of 9 bypolls. So that is reason enough for you to chalao patharbazi. So yahan baitkar bhashan mat do.
Let me bring in some of the other panelists. Yeah, very quickly. 20 seconds.
The BJP spokesperson herself said on your show, over 16,000 numbers are not connecting, etc. They've gone missing. I'm not even talking about the bodies unclaimed. If 16,000 numbers have gone after 2 days, Ravi Shankar Prasad ji gets up in parliament and says it's a conspiracy. So does the BJP spokesperson. Is it Ghanshyam, Madhav or Tehsin's responsibility? If you knew the Kumbh is happening where 8 crore people would come in one day, did you not have the common sense to think there could be a conspiracy? And every time, Madhav, the BJP is in trouble, this conspiracy comes up. How many times on your show has it come up? Why can't you end these conspiracies?
Sanju Verma. Stop engaging in whataboutery.
How am I?
Madhav, I just want to end by saying one thing. Tehsin, I heard you. You made some points. Now my rebuttal is this. You know, now Tehsin will say, oh, Sanju Verma is going back to Pandit Nehru. No. The hard truth is that even the 1954 Kumbh, you know, it took more than 3 years. Even today, nobody knows whether it is 350 people who died or 800 people who died, but we know that at least 350 people died in the Kumbh under Nehru, at least 8,000 people went missing, and at least 2,000 people were injured. So it takes time to collate data. So don't be irresponsible, Tehsin, simply because you want to play to the gallery. No, but ma'am, the question
of accountability is there. Whether it is Nehru, whether it is Mr. Yogi Adityanath, isn't there a question of accountability at the end of the day? Can we run away from that?
No, we can't. But let's wait for the special task force to come up with its report.
Okay, let's wait for the special task force. All right, let me bring in Selam and Rahul in. Selam Dhanidharan, the big question that many are talking about is that, you know, why use words such as Yogi Adityanath, the Chief Minister has killed people, he has murdered people. You know, accountability is one thing, but can we use such kind of provocative language? One needs to be a little responsible when one is a member of parliament, is it not?
What are the member of parliament of the BJP saying? They are saying they don't even want to acknowledge this incident. They're saying it's a conspiracy. See, first, when any incident happens, how can you make sure that such incident would not happen? Right? When you acknowledge, when you say it's a stampede, what is the exact number of people who have died? And then you can take recursal measures. But this government does not even want to agree the fact that there was a stampede. Have they mentioned the fact there's a stampede that has happened?
No, they have. That's not. I think you're not being factually fair now. They have admitted that there are 30 people. There was a press conference of the Mela officer and the DIG that evening at around 6 o'clock in the evening, where they did acknowledge there was a stampede and they did acknowledge that 30 people have died. The only question is of the toll.
They have mentioned, see, for longest they have mentioned it was an accident. That was the term that was mentioned. You go after it happened, look at day 1, day 2. And secondly and foremost, you look at the hospitals surrounding the region. The hospitals are all full. There is no bed space there, which means the casualty that they say and the people injured they say do not match. Right? You go and see it for yourself. The hospitals have vacant beds. They absolutely don't have vacant beds. And what happened with this Bole Baba incident? 120 people died under a year back. This is not the first time it's happening. Now, Sanju Verma goes on and tells what happened 10 years back, what happened 20 years back, what happened 30 years back. Then why are you in government for the last 10 years?
Okay, let me bring in Rahul Ishwar.
Right. Is she trying to say that we are not fit for ruling? They came to power because the previous government, the people were not satisfied.
We'll come once again, Sanju. Let Rahul come into the debate as well. He's been waiting. Rahul Ishwar, 1 minute. Rahul Ishwar.
See, as an ordinary citizen of India, I'm absolutely sure no one would like to hear any kind of political bickering on either side. You know, as a normal Indian, I was very relieved and I was moved to tears when I saw Yogi Adityanath ji in tears and expressing that emotion. That should be the emotion of all, whether it be BJP, Congress or Samajwadi Party. The issue is so many people lost that. Yes, Tehsin Bhai is absolutely right. We need accountability, we need a number. But is it not also the time to speak in one voice? Because when ordinary people look up to our political leaders, they see the reflection of the nation. Just imagine anybody of their their family seeing the entire debates or the narratives where people are attacking each other. Unfortunate thing happened. God forbid it shouldn't happen ever again. Is it not a time to have a bipartisan consensus of finding a ways to have better crowd control, better crowd management, and not to have a blame game? I don't think anybody in their right mind will say that Yogi ji ne marwa diya, or he made them kill. See, these are all very insensitive statements. Is it not the time to stand united and to find better ways? Yes, it may have happened earlier, it happened this time, but is it not the right thing to do, Indians, to forget politics for some time and come together and sort out and celebrate and bring back the glory of the greatest spiritual aspect on earth?
Okay. Tehseen, I want to ask you a simple question. Union Minister, you have Sukanta Majumdar who says that inko jalan ho rahi hai ki Kumbh mein itne log aa gaye hain and the facilities have been provided this time around, unlike earlier.
That's a terrible statement to make at this time. And I completely agree with Rahul Bhai. Both sides should stop politics. But tell me one thing. Don't Rahul Bhai answer this?
So Mr. Kharge is also wrong.
Of course it's wrong. Of course. Can you say this? That's also not wrong. The government is your duty to give suvidha, na?
Tehseen, are you switching parties now on the show?
No. I'm saying that's also wrong. It is the question is not that. I am saying you shouldn't do politics. But then, allow me to finish. The ordinary citizen that Rahul is saying will feel that you shouldn't do politics, will also feel bad that his death is not being acknowledged. His injured person not being acknowledged. As a DMK's person rightly pointed out, there's no space in the hospitals. So what about that? Why aren't you answering that question? If Nehruji is responsible for 1954, then how come the current Prime Minister is not responsible, the Chief Minister is responsible? I don't want to get into this blame game. Nor with Sukanta ji, nor with Yogi ji. I'm saying there have been deaths. The deaths are more because your reporters are showing it on the ground. You all are in the hospital.
Sir, but there are 1,000 relatives who have said this. Tell me, there are the 1,000 relatives. Yes, there may be one or two people who have been missing. I'm not denying what you're saying, but the magnitude of the problem, saying thousands of people are dead, that's a huge number, sir.
Maybe it's not thousands, but give the data of hundreds or 50s of whatever the accurate data is. As citizens of the greatest country in the world, where we were told from 1954 to 2024-25, we progressed leaps and bounds in technology. As Ghanshyam said, AI drones, they were available. Give us numbers, at least 99%.
Okay, Mr. Kharge says he's ready to apologize. Give us the data. Okay, Sanju Verma.
Madhav, I would also like to take this opportunity to unequivocally condemn Rajya Sabha MP of Samajwadi Party, Jaya Bachchan, who made an absolutely abhorrent statement saying, लाशों को गंगा में फेंक देंगे तो गंगा का पानी तो contaminate होगा. I mean, that is as insensitive as it gets. She should clearly think before she puts her big foot into her mouth. But more importantly, coming to Tehseen, and I will repeat this, also for the benefit of the DMK spokesperson. Between June 18th and June 20th, 2024, there was a huge tragedy that happened at Kalakurchi. And I remember doing a zillion debates with DMK spokespersons. On 20th June, they said only 27 people have died. On 30th June, they said 34 people have died. Come July, they said 52 people have died. By July 20th, they said 67 people have died. Finally, the number was 72 people died, 397 grievously injured. Then let us talk about the Wayanad landslide. It happened on the 10th of July 2024. Rahul Gandhi went for a photo op. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra went for a photo op. The man who was on the ground within 24 hours of the horrifying Wayanad landslide was our Minority Affairs Minister of the Modi government, George Kurian.
Okay, we have limited time, so I'm interrupting you there, Sanju. I want a quick response from Selam Dhanidharan to that. Selam Dhanidharan, it's not us, but it's your government that has been economical with the told data.
See, Sanju's logic is this. Why did you do a theft? It's because, I saw my neighbor doing a theft, I saw the other neighbor doing a theft, so I also did a theft. Right. First of all, during Who's tragedy, when I came on your channel, I did apologize and said this incident will not be repeated. Has any BJP spokesman come and said it? Right. Firstly and foremost, what is pertinent is that you agree if something has gone wrong, and then say that we will make sure it doesn't happen again. Has anyone in the BJP said it? The audacity of the BJP MP from UP was to the conspiracy.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. We'll have to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us. Rahul Ishwar, Ghanshyam Tiwari and Selam Dhanidharan, Tehseen and Sanju will stay with us for debate number 2 on the show.